whatever, and and so he was just kind of like making me feel guilty about that because it was something that I didn't know.
Okay.
So, that happened, and he was just like, kind of like, telling me he lost some trust for me or whatever because of that. So, yeah, we had that conversation. I didn't get like in trouble, but it was like the trust was broken,
It was your first time?
Yeah, and being around guys.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So you think he was more, that was the first time, like, I'm sure at the time that it happened, you didn't take it as your father being jealous that there were guys there. You took it as he was just being overprotective and wanted to protect you.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure looking back on that now, you like, that was like the first red flag.
Mm-hmm. The first red flag was that he even allowed me to go.
Okay. So you come back home from the event. What happens?
Because I won't say I could have been. But anyway, so because the timeline be going.
It's okay. But we're talking about something that happened. Like we're talking about 17 years per se.
Yeah, seriously.
So yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah. Okay. So I come home. And, he questioned about it, and he was just saying, he was making me guilt tripping me about trust, and, he didn't know it was going to be around guys, and I was just letting him know exactly what happened, trying to get him to believe me. I was just like, I don't, want to be dealing with no dudes, and it wasn't even that fun.
Okay.
But, so moving on, he said, okay, right? So moving on months later, I say, at this time, I probably was 14.
Okay.
Now, I was probably 14.
Okay.
And the next thing I wanted to do was go to Six Flags. This is my next big thing I've ever done. And I wanted to go to Six Flags. And I asked him, because another friend from school, every time I'm going to Six Flags, and she invited me. And I asked if I could go. And he said, well, you went out to the capper. I don't remember. I don't know what you had going on that night. For all I know, you could have been, having sex with guys. And I'm just like, I'm a virgin still. Like,
okay.
I wasn't thinking about that. He knows how I was raised, church, apostolic, never been around no dudes, don't know nothing about no sex.
Okay.
At this time, like, not even, it's so far away from me, all East removed. So, I was trying to convince him that, like, nothing happened. He's like, well, I don't know that. You'll have to get checked. And then I was just like, I'll go to the doctor's office.
Yeah.
And that's fine because, when you're telling the truth, you don't mind proving it.
Checked. Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, I'll go to the doctor's office. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? And he made it seem like that was going to be, we're going to go to the doctor's office. He didn't correct me the first time I said that. So I remember going to school the next day and riding on the bus with my sister, who's the same age with me.
Okay.
1 week. She's 1 week younger than me.
And this was your sister by the wife, Erica, that he's married to at the time. Okay.
So I remember being excited about both getting checked and going to Six Flags.
You was excited?
Not excited, but nervous. I guess. Nervous about it one and excited about the other. So
I used to have to get them checks at the doctor, and I'd be like, damn, what if he tell my mama I ain't a virgin? What the hell? I'm a virgin. I'm like, what the hell? So I would get nervous. You know what I'm saying? So, but that was for me. So yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that too.
Okay.
But it was like I was just like, like, ooh, how is this gonna be? Because we never got no checkups like that, like gynecology visits or anything like that.
Okay.
At that age. So I remember getting on the bus and I asked my sister, has she ever got checked? And she said, yeah. And I was like, oh, really? And then she was like, yeah. I was like, well, what was it like? And she was like, it's embarrassing.
Okay.
And I just, with me and her sitting on the bus, side by side, nobody was, beside me. I was just like, what do you mean it's embarrassing? Like, what happened? She was like, I said it's embarrassing. Like she was just like, I don't want to talk about it. And she never did. Like, whatever, she never did. But later on that week,
but you get down.
I brought it up like it was time for me to go to Six Flags for that weekend. And later on that week, he was talking about going to remember you got to get checked. And I was just like, okay, when we gonna make the doctor visit, you know? And he just like, doctor visit? He's like, my wife's a nurse, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, she probably can check you. And I was like, okay, cool, that's even better. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, not even better, but I was just like, okay, that's fine, I don't care, like, as long as, So the time come for me to go to Six Flags, and I still hadn't got the checkup or whatever, and I'm just like, I wanted to go, try to see if I can still go. And he's like, well, my wife is not here for her to check you. And I was just like, well, can I go to Six Flags or whatever? And you know what I'm saying? Because she wasn't here, probably not here. And he was like, I'm going to check you. I was just like, no, I'll just wait. I said, I'll just wait. Okay. I'll just wait for Poppy to get here. Because her nickname is Poppy. Okay. That's her Erica Cloman's nickname. And I was like, I'll just wait for Poppy to get here. Okay. Because that was just like weird to me that he would want to do that. Yeah. And he was just like, what? Like, what do you mean you going to wait?